Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Devil Experience. Manchester United 4, Atletico Bilbao 1, 7-1 on aggregate. Manchester United through to the Europa League final. Like I thought we were going to do, like I always felt we were going to do, and still I feel that we will be winning the final. I have 110% utmost confidence in this team, and we will get through and get over the line. And, you know, we're going to break down the match. We're going to do live player ratings. We got to do the live player ratings today. I think there was some big impacts. Obviously, from the substitutes, Mason Mount having a huge impact. Diallo as well. Couple other players as well. So before we do all that, though, please smash the like button because it helps us get out there. So we need your help. Smash that like button, push our channel further so we get seen more. Also, if you're new to the channel or the community, subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to stick in our family. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell icon so you never miss a live. We just did a watch along. You might have missed that. We're doing our Red Devil recap, which we always do after every single match. We're also live during the week doing all the, transfer news sort of stuff and general news along the way. We also have a Discord. We will drop the link to the Discord as well. It will be under the comments after the show has ended, so you could do that, and we'll probably drop a live link in the live comments as well for those that want to. But enough of that. Let's get to the match. I mean, we're through. We're in the final. I think everybody is quite happy. I think it's it would make my job a lot easier if I just came out here and said, let's just forget the first 70 minutes of the match. Let's talk about the last 20 minutes. And let's just pretend like everything went completely well. And we'll kind of just ignore the first 70 minutes. But no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Listen, it wasn't great for 65 minutes of the match. It was sort of hard to watch. We struggled in a lot of areas. And I think there was the players didn't necessarily handle it well. But again, football is a 90-minute match, and they came through in the end. And they came through in the end. They did what was important. I think the changes were a massive help. I think Ruben, again, I was saying during the watch along, I was saying that we need to make some changes. I was asking for changes around 55-minute. It was quite clear that a lot of the players were struggling. We needed sort of a different dynamic in there. And I think the changes that Ruben made were good. They were good. The way he shifted around the team helped out. But yeah, Axe is in here, says we are united in greatness. We have to respect greatness when we see it. There is one huge baffling baboon in the Discord. I don't know who's in the Discord. Lion says you're all hating in the Discord, and here here you're all were great. I don't know what's gone on in the Discord, but a good big back and forth. So I haven't been looking at the Discord because I've been live. So behave yourselves. I'll say. Axe says for 70 minutes we were trash. We can't afford to be unplugged for such a long time. Well, listen, again, I keep telling you, pick your words wisely. Were we trash? I don't think we were trash. In my opinion, trash means we conceded 3 goals. Were we great? No, we weren't good. It wasn't good. It was sort of below, a little bit below average. It was a bit ugly to watch. It wasn't what United fans want, because we always want domination and greatness, no matter what, no matter the circumstances. I would have liked it to go better than it did for the first 70 minutes. But in a season that has been this season, that has been quite horrible, especially in the Premier League. I mean, the Europa League, again, I've been saying the Europa League has been quite kind to us. It's been quite good to Ruben as well. He's done a good job in this competition. I think it's a little bit easier for our team to play in. Today wasn't really one of those matches, though. It wasn't really one of those matches. We struggled to really get a foothold in the game. Which I don't think we've done so in many of the matches since Ruben has taken over in the Europa League. I think there's been periods and times where we look strong, we don't look so strong, but I think today for basically 70 minutes of the match, we actually struggled. But the biggest difference that we keep seeing between the Premier League and the Europa League is that we still managed to somehow get over the line. I mean, the making of the substitutions and sort of the changing of, how the team was playing and the way the team was sort of approaching the match was quite a lot. So, we started pressing the ball a lot more. There was an uptick in the tempo. I think the addition of some of the players like Mount and Diallo changed the dynamic of the team. We were able to make some more passes, quicker passes. The interchangeable play was much better and was much quicker. I wish we started the match in that way. I do, and I'll be honest. But I mean, to me, the biggest thing is we got over the line, and we have one more line that we got to get over, because now we're going to be playing Tottenham, and Tottenham, it's going to be again. I've said, and I've always been saying, I think Tottenham will be the biggest challenge in this Europa League, solely because they are a Premier League team, and our squad struggles in the Premier League, and we've struggled against Premier League play because the physicality and the speed is different to teams in Europe, into Europe, and they're different than in all aspects in terms of Spanish league, Italian league, German league, and all that. So I think I think again, I said it on the watch along, and I said that I think it's going to be a match that's going to be fairly open. I think it's going to be a back and forth sort of match. I don't think one team will particularly dominate it. I don't think we'll dominate it, but I don't think they'll dominate it either. I think it's going to be a fairly open match. I think it's going to be there for whoever decides they're going to be more clinical on that day. And that's where I think we might run into a problem. We were clinical at the end. We weren't clinical in the beginning. And if Tottenham pounces on that, we can run into trouble. So for me, United, I think we will create chances versus Tottenham. I think there will be opportunities there. We have to do a better job of taking those chances, and especially early on in the match. So, Access, come on. Athletic is a low tier team. It would have been 0-2 against a Premier team. But you know what? But we didn't play a Premier team, and I'm gonna be fair here. You said that they were gonna smack us up 3-0 in the first leg, so now they're a low tier team, but they're a low tier team that was gonna smack us up. Listen, we played a team that plays in one way, and now we're gonna play Spurs, and it's gonna be a different match. And then again, it's 90 minutes of football. Anything can happen. We can go out there and we could obliterate them. They could obliterate us. It could be a tight match. There's no, just because we perform this way doesn't mean we're going to perform that way against Spurs. I really don't like this attitude and mentality. I don't. Race to 70 minutes against Spurs could be 3-0 down. Could be, or Spurs could be shit. This is what I'm saying though. Yeah, okay, we played like that, but you're assuming that Spurs would play the way that Athletic played. But what if Spurs are bad? Then we're not down 3-0. So I don't expect to play in that manner again in the final. I don't think so. It's a different team. It's a different match. I don't expect it to go that way. I don't. I've been saying that we're going to win this thing, and I think we're going to win this thing because our club wins trophies and Tottenham doesn't win trophies, regardless of the circumstances. So I'm putting it out there that we are gonna win this final. I don't care what anybody says. I've been saying that we're gonna win this. This competition has been Ruben's competition. It's been kind to him, and I think we're gonna win it. I think we're gonna get. I think we're gonna win it. I think we're gonna win it. I think we have the better chance to win it. Spurs have been. The only thing is that Spurs has beat us 3 times, but Spurs have been arguably, if not just as bad as us in the Premier League, they've been worse because actually they're under us. So, Lyle says United. United are the team for me. Lion says, we haven't even kicked the ball yet. Y'all said that Bilbao were going to dominate us. Why not just back the team that you say you support? Because they don't, because it's easier to say that we're going to fail. So that way when we failed, they could just say, we told you so. Instead of kind of putting your neck out there and having some faith and having a little bit of hope that, you know, we got to a final and, you know, back your team and say that we're going to get over it. You know, I guess they're giving the real opinion. Maybe they don't feel so confident. But no, I back my team because this football club wins trophies regardless of whatever state we're in. We win trophies. And Tottenham doesn't win trophies. And I think that's probably the biggest indicator. You know, we had a manager once upon a time. His name was Jose Mourinho. And he's famous for saying football heritage. And Tottenham have no football heritage. And we do. So I think that's a big factor in there. Axe says we threw them off the mountain. Ray says we make things happen when we move the ball forward. I don't know why it takes 70 minutes to do it. Well, we changed the people. We changed the personnel. And this is the things that I've been arguing, that we need better players and we need different types of players with different types of characteristics. I think when you look at the players that came on as subs, I think the team changed. And I think because the players that came on, they can do different things that the other players on the pitch either can't do or they struggle to do so. And I think that's what leads to the team being able to play in a different way. Again, with Ruben's system, it is very important to have different players with different characteristics that can play in different positions. It allows for a lot of change. You can change a lot of the gameplay, the way it's played, the way the team is operating, and the way the team is executing. And for the squad that we have right now, I think it's still very limited in options, which is why in the summer we have to do what we must do. And again, I say Manchester United need to go out and get a minimum of 5 players for this manager that fits this system. But I agree. But I agree with Ray. I mean, you know, for about 65 minutes, we weren't moving the ball forward. We weren't moving the ball fast enough. The players take too long to think about what they're going to do. They're not ready when the ball is coming to them. I said it on the watch along. You know, when you're in the play and you're reading the game, you should be reading and you should be knowing that the ball is coming to the ball is about to come to you. And therefore, and you know that they're pressing you. So therefore, you know that the ball cannot stay in your feet for more than 1 touch to 2 touches. 2 touches is a lot. 1 touch, it should be already happening. You take 1 touch, pass. So if you want to count it as 2, that's 2. But you should know where the ball is going. A lot of them, they get the ball. They don't know what to necessarily do with it next. But it should already be going on up here. You know, it should be going on up here. If you know they're pressing you and the ball is about to come to you, you should already be scanning and looking for somebody to give the ball to. Now, sometimes I think some of our the teammates don't help because they're not moving and they're not opening up space and they're not making an option available for the person that's about to receive the ball. I think it's a little bit of a combination of both. So that aspect we need to do better all around, you know, everywhere. So, no, I don't think they're necessarily writing them off, Lyle. I think that they're just making a point that they're trying to say that if we play in this manner that, you know, we won't win. And I agree because I don't think that it wasn't like a great display for 65 minutes. I mean, we really struggled to play. And we kind of, I mean, we split the possession and stuff like that. And, you know, maybe we should have had a goal because you would say Garnacho should have scored and stuff like that. And I still argue that we should have had a penalty at one point. But, I mean, you know, we're home. I think we should have done a better job in terms of controlling the match. It was a little bit too shaky for my liking. Where I disagree, though, is that they just assume that Tottenham will be much more elite. I mean, Tottenham, you know, we're not playing Arsenal, we're not playing Liverpool, we're playing Tottenham. You know, they're literally not better than us in any way, except for the fact that they've beaten us 3 times in the league. But these are matches. But in terms of the course of a season, they haven't been better than us. We're pretty much the same, which is why I think that. You know, the game will probably be fairly open in both ends. I don't think any team will dominate the match. I think it'll be a back and forth. I think it'll just be more of who's going to be more clinical on that day. Tottenham, you know, don't have James Maddison, which is a huge player, which I believe Almo pointed out during the live stream, which, I mean, it is massive. He is one of their better players. I still don't think that means that they're done and dusted. Again, the way I look at this, more so from a basic level of standpoint, is it's a final. It's 90 minutes. It's a one-off match. Anything can happen. I mean, the same thing happened when we went to go play City in the FA Cup last year. We were not favorites by any means, right? And everybody had a lot more faith, and everybody was a lot more trying to be a lot more positive and saying that we were going to win it. But we weren't favorites, and we went there and we performed exceptionally well, and we won the FA Cup. And there's no reason why that can't happen again, because it's 90 minutes. You never know what you're gonna get. Now we could go there and absolutely shit the bed, and I hope we don't. But I'm not gonna go into that feeling that way, because for me, I think our club wins trophies and they don't. And I think it's part of our DNA to go and win this thing. And we have one job, and that's to go and win it one way or another. You know, whether it's ugly or beautiful, at the end of the day, all I'll really give a crap about is winning the match. You know, if we win the match in the last 2 minutes of the game and we play shit for 80 minutes, I mean, it's not ideal, but I'm going to take it because we need to win this thing. So, Andero says, have we just seen the career of Mason Mount finally ignited? We were too cautious in the first 45 minutes because of the fear of conceding a goal, and the last 30 minutes was a snapshot of what we can do. And I mean, that is fairly spot on. You know, we were a bit too cautious. I think for some obvious reasons, because we tend to make too many mistakes, bad mistakes. You know, the goal we gave them, really, I mean, it came out of nothing, but it came out of our mistake. 2 mistakes. I mean, Onana had to save that, and Maguire gave the ball away in a position and a place and in a way that you can't give the ball away. So, again, like, they scored the one goal. That one goal, while we didn't play particularly well, right? The only goal they scored was because we made a mistake that shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. And we got to figure out how to clean that out of our game, because otherwise they didn't even score a goal out of anything else. It's not like they completely just outbeat us and destroyed us and ripped us apart and scored, you know, some type of a wonder goal. They scored the goal because we hurt ourselves. We put ourselves in a bad position to allow the goal to score. It's not like they outplayed us in a play on the pitch and we conceded and there was like nothing we could do about it because they were so much better than us. They scored because we did what we usually do, which is we make a really bad mistake, or 2 or 3 consecutively in bad areas of the pitch that you can't be doing that, and then we concede. So we have to minimize the mistakes and stuff like that. And I think, like Andera was saying, we were cautious because I think I think I think Ruben's fairly aware that we've been making many of these mistakes. He's pointed it out before in a couple of post match press conferences and stuff like that. And we all said the first 20 minutes was important. We got over that. We conceded in the 30th, but we still did all right to kind of just keep it a little bit toned down on their end. We didn't allow it to get to 2. And then, obviously we came in the second half later on, in the second part of the second half, and we really turned on the style. And Grace was saying that, we should be playing wingers as the wingbacks. And I think maybe at some point, and I guess for next season, because I think at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe you could do it in some Premier League matches to kind of test it out, whatever's left. But I think actually, if we are more attacking, like we did in the second half when we made the subs and stuff, and we really pushed forward, and Lenny getting up there, Diallo adding something, Mason Mount as well. We scored 4. We were down 1. We scored 4. And obviously the last one, Mason Mount won the goal. But Kepa, his old teammate, giving him an assist. So it is what it is. Still did brilliant to score from there and put it into the net, as he did. But yeah. Andero says, I have no doubt that we will win the final. Mount and Ahmad were the game changers tonight. So fluid in our play. The keeper scares the living daylights out of me. But hopefully, we can win. We can win this now. Axe says, Baboonery is off. I need to sleep because I have work tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. And the streams and tolerance. I wish you a good Friday. Well, we'll see you later, Axe. And he also said it was a great night. Okay. There was a great last 20 minutes, but whatever. GGMU, European League, take me home. Hopefully, we will defeat Tottenham. I think we will. I'm fairly confident that we will. I don't know how the match is particularly going to go in terms of, I'm not going to say, when I say we're going to win it, I mean that we're going to win it. I don't know how we're going to win it in terms of, like, are we going to go out there and just play them completely off the park? No, I don't think so. I think that would be amazing if we did, but we haven't really been able to sort of manage to do that the whole season. We've had maybe a handful of performances where maybe you would say they were complete. Basically, all of the matches we played, they've been fairly incomplete because they're fairly inconsistent. We do very well in some periods. We do very poor in some other periods. Then you get some nights like tonight where a majority we do very poor or fairly poorly in a large aspect of the game. But then in 20 minutes we sort of come to life. I mean, this has been an issue in the squad anyway. I've said the same things even when Ten Hag was here. I said the same things, for at least a season and a half, that we never give a full 90-minute performance. We're still not giving full 90-minute performances. Something that we're gonna have to fix and figure out, because obviously you can't be competitive if you're not giving full 90-minute performances on a consistent basis. So it's something that we're gonna have to sort of think out. But I think, again, for me, the biggest indication, the biggest factor, and kind of back to what Andero basically highlighted here, is that Mount and Ahmad were the game changers. And I think this is why I keep arguing and saying that this manager, for him, and specifically more for the squad, we need players for him in the summer. Like, it is a big task and a big job. They need to get players in. Ahmad and Mount have different characteristics, and they play the game differently to other players on the pitch. Bruno wasn't doing it where Mount was. Mount came in, he had a big impact. Bruno did better than Ugarte was doing in there. And Cass was fine the whole time. And Diallo is different to Garnacho. these things, this is why it's important, and this is why I keep arguing personnel and recruitment is the most important thing that we can do at this football club. Because if you don't do personnel and recruitment correctly, no manager can succeed at this football club. No manager can succeed at any football club with poor recruitment. You have to have the tools. You have to have the proper players. And I think when we made the subs, it allowed the aspect of the team to change, and it changed the game, and it let the team play in a more dynamic way than what we were doing. Now I think maybe Amorim sort of kind of always planned this, because again, Ugarte and Cass are the more defensive unit, but I think it was important that we kind of minimized sort of the risk in the beginning of the match and went a little bit more defensive. Then when it got later in the 70th minute, we were still up by 2 on aggregate, right? That's when he changed it, and it went more attacking. I mean, putting Bruno instead of Ugarte, that's a more attacking thing. Putting Mount up there is obviously an attacking change. Diallo for Garnacho, while direct, is still an attacking change. Lenny and letting the team go up and push up and put more pressure, and we started pressing more. They were all attacking changes, and I think he did that because we were sort of more in a safer area. There was only 20 minutes left to play. We needed to get a little bit more of a foothold in the game. We needed to put more pressure on them. They were tired. We made subs. They made subs, and it was good, and it went our way in that aspect. So, Andero says, for me, Bruno has to go back into his normal role, and Ahmad has to start the final. Delit might miss out on the final, is only 2 weeks away, as Mount played his way into the starting 11. I mean, he had a huge impact today, Mason Mount. Were those his first 2 goals that he scored for us? Has he not scored before? So, I mean, he had a massive impact, and so did Diallo. And we all know how important Diallo is, because Diallo was important before he got injured. And we know what Diallo brings. This is sort of new with Mason Mount, because this is actually the first time, really, since he's come to Manchester United, where he's having actually, and it's coming from substitution appearances, but he's having a consistent run of games. And this is what I've been kind of trying to say, like, this is why I've been a little bit cautious with Mason Mount, because I think that he can be a good, useful player for this team. Amorim has been talking nothing but, positively about him, because he believes that he fits his system perfectly. The only thing that, again, I've been saying is that he's got to stay fit. If he stays fit, I think he can have a very big impact on this squad. He can be a very useful player, whether he's a starter or a substitute. And I think it's one less player that we kind of have to worry about changing. So, I don't know. I mean, he seems like he plays that role particularly well. I think Ruben would very much like to play him and start him there. I don't know what it is with, the doctors and the fitness department. I don't know if he's ready to give us full 90 minutes. Do you start him and play him for 60 or something like that? I don't know. It's a difficult call with the lack of information. I think with the impact that he has on the match, and even from his substitute appearances and sort of how he fits into that role, I mean, there's obviously a valid argument that you would say, I think maybe Mason Mount should start there. But then there's also the other impacts of, can he give you that full amount of the time? Also, I think there's also a benefit of the fact that he is sort of behind maybe some other players. I mean, maybe he should be more fresh because he's played less matches, but maybe he's also a little bit less sharp because he's missed many matches prior to this little run that he's been getting. So, It could still benefit to bring him off of the bench when he comes in, when other players are more tired on the pitch. and it allows him to be more in a fair playing field in that way. So, almost as I'm actually very confident that we will beat this lot. You've got to remember we have been under immense pressure before against Manchester City, and we won. Well, listen, our club never does it the easy way. Today wasn't the easy way. The easy way would have been go out there, score 2 goals in the first half. You know, don't concede. We would have been up 5, go into halftime, come out second half, kind of just pass the ball around and dick around and, you know, just kind of maintain the game. We never do it the easy way, ever. I don't expect us to do it the easy way in the final, but I think this team can get over the line in the final. I think they can do it. I'm saying it now. I don't expect the match to be one where we go out and completely dominate Tottenham. I think it's going to be open and it's going to be cagey. But I think this team will find a way to get it there. It's his first European final as a manager. I listened to him after the match. He did a short interview with TNT. He said, you know, he's nervous, he's anxious. He said he really wants to win it because you have to win it now. And as a manager, you got to win these things. So, you know, I think it's you know, it's going to be a big match for him. And I think it's going to be, you know, it sort of feels a little bit maybe like, and maybe it's not in the same complete aspect, but maybe it could have a similar effect to kind of like Fergie winning the FA Cup. I think this, obviously the circumstances are a little bit different, but it could be something that provides a little bit of a platform, a little bit of more positivity, a little bit more backing in the manager. Because things obviously have been quite bad in the Premier League. And if you can go and win the Europa League, you win a trophy your first season under very sort of shit circumstances, right? And you know, it's a little bit similar in that way. I mean, Fergie was supposedly going to lose his job. No one's ever clarified if he actually was or not. People deny it. People say that it was going to happen, whatever it is. But I mean, he went there and he got that, and that kind of allowed him to continue on and carry on and kind of set some sort of a platform. And maybe there could be some sort of a similar effect here. I mean, if he wins the Europa League, you know, it's going to be massive, not just for an outlook of positivity in terms of that, you know, he can manage the team to get over the line and win trophies. That's a good, you know, platform to start on. But also money aspect and the transfers and stuff like that is also going to have a big impact as well. So almost as we turn up in finals, that's the way our club is. That's our DNA. Well, usually we do. I mean, there's been the occasional 1 or 2 times in recent history that you know, we didn't really turn up too much in finals. I mean, you know, there was the one with Ali that we lost, and there was another one too, somewhere along the way, I believe. So, you know, usually, typically, almost, yes, you're right, we do. But there's been 1 or 2 in recent times that we haven't. But again, when I look at it, I mean, who turns up more in finals, Manchester United or Tottenham? It's Manchester United by, you know, 17,000 country miles. So I think it's you know, it's going to be an interesting match because it's 2 managers that have had a very bad time in the Premier League. One has been here for 2 seasons now in Ange, and Ruben, obviously different circumstances. He's been here for 6-7 months and joined halfway through the season. So I think both managers are going to be absolutely desperate. Tottenham obviously haven't won a trophy for I don't even know how long, 7 years or whatever it is. So they're obviously going to want to win it. We need to win it because, one, it's a trophy and we win trophies, but again, we also have financial implications as well in it. And it's going to be important. I mean, there was a story that went live before the Europa League match we just played that said Victor Gyökeres and Ruben Amorim still have a very good relationship, And Victor Gyökeres has told Ruben Amorim that he will be more likely willing to join Manchester United if we're in the Champions League because he wants Champions League football. So, you know, it could have a big impact because, I mean, we could just play a little bit of hypothetical, but if we have the money for Gyökeres and we get in the Champions League and we get Gyökeres and we stop Gyökeres, because otherwise Gyökeres has a very good chance of going to Arsenal. If Gyökeres joins us, we now have an elite striker. We also stopped an elite striker going to Arsenal, and Arsenal have to go elsewhere and get him. You know, there's many different things that can happen that's going to come out of this. So it's going to be very, it's going to be very important. I think it's going to be a nail biting game. To be quite honest, it's going to be a nail biting game. But yeah, we're going to do the player ratings soon. I'm just trying to check something real quick. There will be an ad that's about to run, just so you know. So for some of you, but yeah. Back to the chat though. I waited for the ad, so don't worry about it. We do have ads, by the way, which I will talk about at the end of the show. Because I have to talk to you guys about that. But I lost my spot. Almost says Tottenham don't have the DNA and never will. I'll be shocked if we lose. This more than shocked. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, if we lose, it's going to be a very, very it'll probably be one of the worst days in our club's recent history. Besides obviously having the worst, you know, Premier League season, but I mean losing it to Tottenham. No, yo, I just got an ad. Have you been monetized? Yes. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about it at the end of the show. I don't want to do it now. I'm trying to minimize the ads though, because I think they're just running a little bit crazy. So, almost as Mount was the best player on the pitch when he came on. Very good. Almost, I told you. I was telling you. I'm telling you. I'm not here to say I was right and you were wrong. I'm just saying that I always fully believe that he can be a good player, and I think he obviously he fits the system. His biggest issue obviously always was that he wasn't able to stay fit. If we can make him stay fit, I think we have a very good player that we're able to use. It's one less player that we gotta change. It's one less player that we gotta worry about. And I'm happy that he's on this run of games. I'm happy he's staying fit. Again, I think whatever they're doing right now, whatever the plan is right now at Manchester United with Mason Mount, fitness-wise, whatever they've come up with, I think they need to stick with it. He's had a big impact today. I think I would actually like for him to start, but I don't want it to be in risk of him getting some sort of another injury. So whatever plan they have, I think they should continue on with that plan. Elias says Amorim backed Mount, and we can see why. He has been managed well. Yes, you know, and Ruben from the earliest of days, all he did was talk positively about Mason Mount and how much he loves Mason Mount. And I think that's because, you know, from what he's seen from Mason Mount and what kind of characteristics Mason Mount has as a footballer, as a 10, he fully believed that Mason Mount fits beautifully into his system and what he needs out of the player playing in that position. And the only thing that was standing in the way was the fitness. So yeah. And again, and against Brentford last year. He scored against Brentford. Oh, yes. He scored against Brentford on 2 occasions. We shouldn't have bought Mount at the time as we needed other positions filled, but Amorim absolutely rates him the longest spell fit. Yeah, so far. So hopefully we keep it up. Hopefully we keep it up for his sake. And let's see where it goes. Because, again, this is what I've been trying to say as well. I think there are players in the squad that we can use. And when Almo says we need 15 new players, I agree, but not all at once. And we got to do it in periods. Because I think to get to where we got to go, and in between that time, in the next 2-3 seasons, some players might come to life that aren't really so much to life. And some players will know for absolute sure, okay, they're definitely 110% not good enough. They've had so many opportunities. They failed so many times. There's some players in the squad that they might need a little bit of turn of a fortune. A season can make a difference. You know, it could happen. So again, even maybe with Rasmus, you know, if you sell him, you sell him. But I think even with Rasmus, I think, you know, he scored. He got on the score sheet. He was in the position he's supposed to be. He didn't really have nothing for him in terms of opportunities prior to that. But, you know, he was doing whatever he could, which is kind of what I've been saying. You know, you might not get the most chances, but do what you can. Trying to hold the ball up, fighting with the center backs and stuff like that. And then he positioned himself very well. Ahmad did excellent to get the ball in through the defender's legs. And Rasmus is in the position where your striker has to be and needs to be. And he scored a tap-in. But you know what? In a season where he's actually really struggled, and he's been quite frustrating, and he's been quite frustrated himself, you know, positive. Our striker put the ball in the back of the net today. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. And that's why I think, you know, I say we need another striker, but I would give him another season and see how it goes, and let him play the backup role. You know, I think we've had a couple examples. I think Maguire has had a resurgence. I feel like Rasmus, it could happen something similar. Take a little bit of pressure off of him. Don't make him the main guy. Similar to Maguire, took the captaincy off of him. He lost his spot, focused on his game, allowed him to focus on himself a lot more. And I think he came back better for that as well. So Lyle says Arsenal fans have to watch Chelsea, Tottenham, and Man United in the European final, and also give Liverpool a god of honor. Well, yeah. I mean, Arsenal, no trophies. They got to watch everybody else competing for a trophy of some sort. Didn't win the league, so I guess life of an Arsenal fan. Lion says, I'm thinking penalties for the... I hope not. That's the one thing that I don't want. I don't want penalties. I don't want penalties. I don't want to leave it. Penalties to me is like the most absolute luck of lottery draws. I would rather the match go us losing 1-0 for 85 minutes of the match, and we come to life in the last 5-10 minutes of the match, and somehow we win 2-1. I'd rather that happen. I'd rather be pissed off for 80 minutes than it go to penalties and, you know, not know what's going to happen. So make sure you guys smash the like button as well. We got to get those likes up. So smash the like button. Chat, back to the chat. Amarim bringing in a trophy in his first season, which is a short one, must be some sort of record, right? Probably somewhere. I don't know. That's for one of those other guys to dig up. I'm sure we'll probably get it. You know, if he does it, he's got to do it first, Lyle. Let's let him do it first. Let him do it first. Almost says, I thought we would get absolutely run through by Manchester City in the FA Cup final, and look what happened. We pulled out the bag. That's what we do. That's what I said in the beginning of the show, because, you know, a couple of us was saying that if we played like we played tonight, if we were playing Tottenham, we would have lost 3-0 to Tottenham. And I'm like, I get that, but there's no guarantee that we're going to play like that. And also, it's a final, and it's 90 minutes of football. And like, when we played last season against Manchester City, we were not the favorites. You know, many people thought we were going to get slaughtered by Manchester City. And we didn't. we went out there and we played a good game and we won the FA Cup final. And this is what I'm saying. And this is why I think we can go and do it, because it's a 90-minute match of football. We don't know what we're gonna get. We could get the best performance of the season by Manchester United. We could get the worst performance of the season, but I really don't feel like that. I feel like I've been saying this for quite some time. This competition has been kind to Ruben since he's come in, and he's done well. And he did well to take us from the position we were in when he took over to where we finished in the group stage or the table stage. And we've been managing to get through from stage to stage. So I think I'm fairly confident that we can go and do this. Chad says, I believe we beat Tots when I see we lining up to collect winners' medals. Well, fair enough. I mean, some people got to see it to believe it, I guess. But I'm going to put my faith in this manager and the team. And I'm going to back the boys to go out there and do it. So, almost as this summer, I would get rid of Onana, Sancho, Rashford, and Garnacho I would sell. Well, for sure, Sancho is definitely going, and Rashford is definitely going. Anthony is also going to go in some sort of way. I mean, there's been a little bit of talks of Onana, because apparently we were looking at a Milinkovic that plays for Torino, I believe, which I mean, I don't really know. He was at our academy at one time. We lost him because he couldn't get a work permit or something like that, and you know, he ended up going other places or whatever. I argued that doesn't mean that Onana is going to go. People think that that's going to be the direct replacement for Onana. Milinkovic apparently is about 17 million. I think that Milinkovic would be the backup. I expect Altay Bayındır to go. I don't think Bayındır is going to stay. I think Bayındır wants to leave. I think Bayındır wants to play and be a first choice goalkeeper. Because I think he's going to lose his spot if he hasn't lost it already in the Turkey national team. And before he came to us, he was a starter, and he was a starter for the national team. Well, now he, you know, barely gets any games. He's a backup, and I don't think he's gonna. I don't think, as bad as Onana really isn't like that good. Like Onana isn't that good. I don't think Bayındır is any better than Onana. In fact, I think he could potentially be worse because his kicking isn't all that great. And we obviously are going to continue to try and play out of the back and improve on that. So, 4 out, 4 in, that's realistic enough. I would push, again, if we get this Europa League final and we get into the Champions League, I'm saying 5. We must go and sign 5. We should sign 5. I think we can sign 5. And we get out as many as we can. But we obviously have the main 3, which is Rashford, Sancho, even though Sancho's deal is pretty much already done, so there's nothing really to negotiate unless Chelsea reject it. But I don't think they're going to do so. But Rashford and Anthony for sure, and then, you know, where you look at there, I don't know what they're going to do with Garnacho. Again, for me, he's improved. I mean, people say that, you know, some people are trying to say that he's worse. I mean, he has more goal involvements this season than he did last season. He has more assists this season than he did last season. So he's actually technically having a better season this season than he did last season. He's having more of an impact. And he's still a young guy. So I think you can still work with that there. Lion says, forgot all about it. What was I talking about? Changed my mind. 3-1 United win. We played City off the park in the first half. They couldn't live with us. We can't do that. We can do that to Tottenham, no problem. We just need to turn up. No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, anything is possible. We need to turn up. I think, like you put it, Almo, we just got to go out there and we got to turn up. Not like today. But I think today we went about it in a different way, and it went in a different way than I think today we tried to have a little bit of cake and eat it too, in that we wanted to go and win the match, but I think we didn't necessarily set up and try and play in that manner. I think we were trying to do both at the same time. Like, we wanted to win, and go out like, they said we wanted to go out and win the match, right? But at the same time, we were fairly conservative at times, and we were obviously playing to try and minimize any sort of risks against us, and stop, making sure pretty much don't concede a goal. If you concede a goal, don't concede the second one. And then we sort of unleashed ourselves when there was 20 minutes left, because we were in a pretty good spot where we shouldn't be giving up 2 or 3 goals in the last 20 minutes of the match. So yeah, Casemiro got a cup for each season since he joined Madrid. He has, and he's still adding to that giant collection that he has. So he turns up for us in finals, to believe or not. Casemiro. Well, I mean, listen, the Europa League matches he's done absolutely amazing in them. He's been a huge, important factor, big impacts in the matches. And today he had another very good game. When I compare him to Ugarte today, I think Ugarte was not good. He gave the ball away too many times. At too many opportunities, and some of them, I mean, you're talking about 5-yard passes. So, I was asking for Ugarte, when we were talking about halftime, and I said, we need some subs. We need to change something, because the players are struggling. They're having a hard time, and we need to change something around. And, one of the things I was saying was, you could drop Bruno back there, take Ugarte out, put Diallo in. That's what he did, and he also put on Mount, and I was also saying put on Mount as well, and put on Kobe. But Kobe came on, last 10 minutes, and even Kobe for the last 10 minutes, I think Kobe did well for the 10 minutes that he played. I think Kobe got heavily involved and made himself a sort of a presence, which was good. So yeah, it was a good day for the subs. It was a good day for the subs. They had big impacts, important. And they went on there and they got the job done. So that miss is bad enough for me to sell him. I've seen enough of Garnacho. I think his head turned. I mean, I don't really operate in that way, Almo. I mean, listen, it's an unacceptable miss. He's got to score it. I'm hugely disappointed in that he missed that chance, and that goal going in changes the whole dynamic of the game, especially at that point in time of the game. And there's no excuses. I mean, you got to score it. I mean, it was awful, but it doesn't tell me to sell him. Again, he's a young player. It takes one season for him to change everything. I mean, Mohamed Salah was absolutely written off, and I think he was older than Garnacho. And he was absolutely written off, and everybody said Salah was shit. And then look what Salah turned into. And I think with Garnacho, the same thing can happen. I mean, it can, it can't. I think that's where it is. I think it can go either way. And I'm not going to write him off yet. I think it's too early. I think it's too early to write off the kid. I do. I think he's too young. And I think I think he can become a good player and a better player. And I think if he continues to progress from season to season, which in terms of goal involvements at the very least, I didn't go further down into the statistics, but in goal involvements, if he's improving in that aspect at the very least, if he continues to improve from season to season, he will get there at some point. So yeah. Laya says the Premier League is set to have 6 teams in next year's UCL, best league in the world. Yeah, but we got to do something with it. It kind of makes us look bad at the same point, Lyle. At the same time, Lyle, it sort of makes us look bad if we have 6 teams and we don't win it. If somebody from the Prem doesn't win it, because we have the most chances and the most opportunities, and we had, what did we have, 4 or 5? this season, and we're not in. There's no English team in the final, so you know, we have six, or we're gonna have six next season. For the Premier League, I think for the outlook for people judging the league, it better be an English team, in the final. Just for that. Chad says natural winner, natural leader, natural devil. Lyle says, I heard somewhere that we needed 4 goals in this year's UEL to beat or equal our highest goal tally in a European campaign. Something to that effect. I don't know about that. Didn't see that, but it sounds interesting. Salah's pace was always crazy since he was in Russia. Yeah, but they said that he was shit. But they said that he was ass. Even when Liverpool bought him. I mean, there's pictures out there of Liverpool fans saying, that he's washed. Because Chelsea kicked him out. And he went to Italy. And he came to Liverpool. And he became Mohamed Salah. And again, he's a young guy. Hasn't Garner got 26 goal involvement this season? I think it's 21 or 24. Something like that. I made a tweet about it last time, so I should know this, but yeah. Lad says, yeah, but over the last few years, Liverpool, Chelsea, and City have taken it, so it's not a bad return in sense. Yeah, I get that. But, the people that aren't fans of the Premier League, they're still going to talk shit. So, the ones that don't like the Premier League, and are fans of other leagues, and don't like people saying that the Premier League is the best league in the world, and they don't agree with it, they will use it to talk shit when they say, it already happened. That's why I'm saying it, because I already know, because one of my friends already said it. They're not fans of Premier League clubs. They don't support the Premier League, and they already mentioned it, and pretty much saying like PSG beat all the English teams to get to the final, and so much for a farmers league and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all about optics, I guess. Chad says goal involvements and appearances go hand in hand. Same appearances, Chad. Same appearances. He has more goal involvements in basically the same amount of. I think he either played one less or played one more. So he has more goal involvements in the same amount of appearances. It's not like he's played 10 extra matches. He's played literally, at this point, he's played about the same amount of games. And he has more goal involvements. So, yeah. Almost as Maguire was the worst player on the pitch, other than what he was doing. Other than what he was doing tonight. I mean, yeah, he was. I mean, he didn't have a great game. It wasn't a good game for him. But I mean, he's had some good games throughout the season. So it tends to happen. It tends to happen. Again, listen, and this is why it's important to have a good, well-rounded squad, because every player, and besides the ones that are aliens like Ronaldo or Messi, and I guess maybe they're going to start putting Lamine Yamal into this conversation. But those players are aliens. They don't really have bad matches, like, ever. But every other footballer, even somebody like Mohamed Salah, like, he'll have a shit game. He'll have a game where he has no impact, or a couple games. It happens. So, almost says, Chad says, but his pace was always threatening. Garnacho don't have that speed. But Garnacho's threatening. Garnacho gets in threatening positions. Garnacho just, in fact, actually, if Garnacho could just figure out how to be a little bit more clinical, his goals, assists would be actually much higher. Because there's been a numerous amounts of goals that he should have scored. Like tonight, he should have scored. He should have added another one to the tally. So actually, a young guy, if you can get him to build out his game a little bit more and be a little bit more clinical, which I think comes with a little bit more experience and a little bit more time on the training pitch and growing as a person and growing as a player, and he becomes more clinical, then we have an excellent player on our hands because he's actually very threatening. He makes good runs. He gets into good positions. He needs to work a little bit on the passing and the assisting, and he has to be a little bit more clinical. But I don't think I don't think Garnacho is a player that we're dealing with that we're saying like he's very far off it. I don't think he's very far off of it. I think he's teetering on the fence right now, and I think you can get him off that fence and shoot him up like a rocket. Um, so, bro, who do you want to come up to the Premier League? Sheffield United, Sunderland, or Coventry? I don't count Bristol City anymore because they're out. They're out. They lost 3-0 tonight in the first playoffs. Not Sheffield, Sunderland, or Coventry. Whoever hasn't been in the Premier League for quite a while, I'd like to see them get in. I'm tired of seeing the same teams go up and go down. I'm tired of them, being in the Prem one season, going out the next season, and coming back in. I'm not happy about the other teams that are coming up. I know Leeds is a rivalry, but Leeds was already here and they got sent down. I don't want to see them back. It's boring, and and Burnley. I mean, they do this every year, so I would like to see some new teams, because it just makes it better. It's nicer to see some teams that haven't gotten a chance, and maybe get surprised and maybe they stick around. But the Prem has to figure out how to fix relegation because relegation is clearly broken. It's clearly broken. I don't know if they're gonna be able to fix it, but it says, I mean, if you look at all time UCL winner stats, Spain has 20 total titles and England is second with 15. Haters will hate. Well, yeah, I mean, they will. They always do. And that's why, we got to fight them. Compared to someone who has less appearances is what I'm saying. No, I compare him to himself. I compare him to himself. I mean, I don't know. Who are we going to compare him to then? If Garnacho goes elsewhere and lights it up, first fan base to say, why was Garnacho sold? United fan base. Well, yeah, exactly. Just like they kind of do with Anthony Alenga, while he performs decently good at Nottingham Forest. And many people hated on Alenga and said he wasn't good enough. And now they're like, well, he'll be better than anything we have. I'm like, well, you're the ones that kind of wanted him out and didn't really give him more of a chance. But, yeah, I don't know. Again, for me, he's a kid, and I don't write kids off. I give them time. So, for me, there's no, I don't see the reason in writing off Garnacho. He's a kid. He's a young player. I think I actually think it's quite ridiculous to write off young players because they can go either way. Somebody that's a little bit older, like for example, like Marcus Rashford, it makes sense if you write him off or not. He's 27. Nothing is going to change about Marcus Rashford's game. Whatever he is, he is. And that's about it. Sancho is a little bit older, a lot more experienced than Garnacho. Sancho is Sancho. Like, it's not going to change. Garnacho, still young enough for him to change. So, yeah. You want Sunderland. Alma wants Sunderland. Yeah, I mean, I'll take Sunderland. Gray says, are we all going to get the nervous shits in the final? Probably. Probably at some point. Let's do live player ratings. How much time have we, what are we in? We're an hour in. All right, let's do live player ratings. And yeah. Been a long day. These guys, they make it look easy. Everybody else, the guys that have been doing this for years and years, they make it look easy doing this. it's a long day. You know, you do about a 2 hour stream for the match. Then you come on here, you do like about another hour or so. It's a long time. But when you have the community keeping you with engaging conversation, it makes it much easier. You know. So live player ratings. Here we go. Pull them up. Pull them up. Chad says, would you buy Grealish to Lions? Well, I absolutely would not. I think Grealish is a horrible player. I think Grealish is. I wouldn't. I'd take a packet of crisps, and there's a UK reference for it. I take a packet of crisps before I take Grealish. You know, I don't like his attitude. Don't like his mentality. Don't like his off-field behavior. Seems to be like he's a drunk. He's shit on the pitch as well. You know, prior to that, when he was at Villa, I mean, Villa Grealish looked very good, and he looked a lot more humble. Since his time at City, he looks like he's gotten a lot more full of himself. But I guess they say, you know, money makes you what you are and stuff like that. And I guess maybe sort of, I guess success has amplified that. Maybe he always sort of had that in him. But yeah, Edward Jr. saying Spurs think they can beat us at the final, but United, if Europe is a beast, then in Prem. Well, yeah, I mean Spurs, London forever, or whatever they sing. They're gonna be singing that, crying themselves to sleep. So I see that we got another ad. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. There's another ad that played. Don't worry about it. Almost says, I saw the other day that Donnarumma only has 1 year left at PSG. Do you think we could get him? Probably not. For the sole fact that I think that they will re-sign him. He made a statement, Donnarumma, saying that he would like to stay at PSG if PSG want to do the deal. I can't see how PSG would get rid of Donnarumma, considering, I mean, look at the performances that the guy puts in. He's literally, you know, if he's not top one, he's in top 3 goalkeepers in the world. I don't see how PSG let Donnarumma go. I think they'll be giving him a new contract. And if he's making statements like he would like to stay at PSG and it's up to PSG to give him the contract, then I think it's probably only a matter of time. Now, if they don't offer him a new contract and they let him go, which I think will be quite crazy, and then he's available, well, then I think, you know, all fair play on the table. But in the current moment, I think he'll probably end up resigning. I think it would be kind of quite crazy for them to go. Grace is giving Delo a 10. Yes, we give Delo 100 score, and we wish him to see him back soon. You know, we've made it to the final, and he's supposed to be back available for the final, so hopefully we'll see him very soon, you know. Grealish is a counter-attacking player. That's why I worked at Villa and at time that where they would play behind the ball. Don't sing, please. Well, that's why I usually don't. I'm very self-aware. I can't sing. Onana over Donnarumma, says Grace. You're having a laugh, Grace. You're having a laugh. Anyway, since we're speaking about Onana, and before we do, Lyle has dropped the Discord link. If you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord because you get updated with when we're going live and all that stuff. And we also have, you know, good discussions. We keep you updated with all the latest news popping off from X, from all the journalists like Fabrizio Romano and et cetera. And we got some good channels in there as well, non-related to football. We got something with wrestling. There's a food one. It's the kitchen. We get cooking in there and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna replace the pin. I'm gonna pin that so you guys can have that accessible to you, and I'll be dropping it in the comments section after we done with the live. But live player ratings. Edward says, GGMU, that trophy is ours. Well, that's how I feel. I think we're going to do it. Edward. Edward Jr. So, Gray says if we get UCL next season, we better get top 4 next season. Otherwise, we won't get UCL the season after. Well, that's the way it tends to go, right? So, I mean, we better. I mean, well, technically top 5 now, Grace. Top 5, no longer top 4. 5th position gets you in UCL as well. So, top 5. So, I mean, obviously that's going to be the aim and the goal. And you know, we would like to do that. Let's see how things go. You know, first step, let's win the Europa League, right? That's first step. Second step, go into the summer, buy some good players, get some players that fit our manager system and our quality, and do some good transfer business there. And then we start the season and we go from there and see how that goes. And then, you know, we'll you know, if we do those 2 things, obviously we'll be in UCL. And then we got to see how we perform in there as well. Obviously, you know, we're going to want to get past the table part and get into the latter stages. So, yeah. But live player ratings, Andre Onana, I give him a 5. To be quite honest, I'm trying to think. Did he have any big saves? I give him a 5 because he had to make the save. The goal shouldn't have went in. It didn't really cost us that much in terms of we still ended up winning, but it didn't make the situation great. He needed to save that. He got a touch on it. For me, I'm not a goalkeeping expert, but at the very least, I know if you could touch it, you could save it. It was a shot from far out as well, so he had plenty of time to read it. And just didn't do good enough, in my opinion, on that one aspect. So, 6 is average. I put 5 down to that because I think that was a goalkeeping error. And he had to do better there. I think otherwise, he did decently okay. And I think a lot of the shots weren't really threatening. They had some shots that were off target. They had some shots that were fairly, you know, just direct for him to save and stuff like that. So, yeah, for me, 5. Lindelof, I give him a 5.5. Again, he's not a player that I particularly, he doesn't fill me with confidence. He's always very shaky. I think he had sort of an average kind of game. But a lot of mistakes in him, especially in the beginning of the match. Did all right defensively, but I don't know. It's something about him that just like, he's just not my type of center-back. He's not my type of center-back. There's nothing really that in his game that I like too much. He's not necessarily strong. He's not necessarily good in the air. He's not necessarily good with the ball in his feet. And he's one that obviously he's going because we're not giving him a new contract. I mean, I would look to move him on anyway. But yeah, 5.5 for me. Slightly below average. Harry, I would give him a 5 as well. I think he had a poor game today. He was a mess in a lot of aspects. Doesn't mean that he didn't do anything good or anything right. And same goes for Lindelof and same goes for like Onana. Doesn't mean that they didn't do anything right. I just think that they all them 3 below the levels that I think we wanted and we expected. And especially Maguire was sort of a letdown because he's actually been quite good. And his performance just left me feeling very disappointed in him today in what he gave us. But you know, he's been good over the course of his season and last season as well. And these things tend to happen. I mean, you're not going to be perfect every game. You're not going to have a good game every single match. I think he's been more better than he has been bad. Today was one of those matches where he just didn't have a very good match. So, Lyle says top 5 depends on coefficient league, so we hope for the English teams to do well next season like this year. They dominated in most parts. Yes, we hope the English teams, we support the English teams up until a certain point, and then once we secure kind of the coefficient thing, then we hope that all of them lose. Because obviously, as United fans, we don't want Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and whoever else is in it to win the Champions League if we're not going to win it. If we can't win it, they can't win it. You know what I mean? So we support them up until a certain point. You know, and then we go from there. But Lenny Oro. Lenny, I'm gonna give Lenny an 8. I'm gonna give Lenny an 8. I think Lenny was absolutely fantastic today. He was by far our best defender, our best performing defender. He was he bring the levels of what I kind of expected or wanted the rest of the team to bring, especially from the defender aspect. He was our by far best defender on the pitch today. And then later on in the match, when he was allowed license to get forward and go up more, I mean, he was having a big impact there as well. I thought he got an assist for the Rasmus goal, but he didn't touch it. But still, I mean, he was impactful there, getting on the ball, making passes, picking up, you know, the loose balls and the second balls from when we were hanging around and attacking. And yeah, I mean, 19-year-old kid, first season. Again, you know, early in the season, he struggled a little bit. I think he's improved much better. He's being more consistent. He's still got ways to go because he's only 19. And he's still a young guy. He still has a whole career in front of him. You know, he's still got another 13 years or so, or longer. So yeah, I think, you know, he's done well to improve over the course of a season. He started off real shaky. Today he was magnificent, in my opinion. I don't think he put a foot wrong. He was strong. He was solid. He made important blocks and tackles. And he held his own on a pitch, and he was physical enough when he needed to be physical. So yeah, for me, I give Lenny an 8. I think he was. I think he did quite well. Maz, I'd probably give him a 6. Fairly standard average. I think, you know, he was good in some aspects of play. I feel like he could have gotten involved a little bit more, especially he was playing wing back at one point. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say on Maz. I don't remember him impacting the match too much in certain areas. Although I will admit that, you know, I was doing the watch along, and sometimes it gets a little hard doing the watch along and watching the match. I gotta update scores and stuff like that, but I don't think I missed anything. So I think it was just a fairly standard performance from Mazawari. For me, Ugarte, I would give Ugarte a 5. I don't think Ugarte particularly had a good game. I think he gave away the ball too much. And again, I've protected Ugarte in the past because some of our fans think he's supposed to be fucking Paul Scholes or something, pinging 60-yard balls on a dime to the person's foot with his eyes closed, and that was never him. And I don't know why people think that that's what he should be doing. But today, I mean, in the short range, even making a 5-10-yard pass from the left to right or retaining the ball, he wasn't good. He gave the ball away far too much. And I think when you look at his counterpart next to him, Casemiro played and had a much better game in all aspects. I think he was better defending, he was better at passing, better retaining the ball, better at making smart passes and stuff like that. So for me, yeah, he didn't have a great game, and he was one that I actually said I would probably look to change at halftime. You know, him, Garnacho was one that I mentioned as well, because I said maybe you give Garnacho another 10-15 minutes, and then take him out, and that's what happened. But yeah, Casemiro, I give him a 7.5. Got a goal. had a very good game. Very good game. Again, strong performance by Casemiro. Important performance. He's been very good for us in Europa League, and he's done well since he's come back into the team. Um, so yeah, Uncle Cash just doing it again, especially in these Europa League matches. He's had a very, very big impact. And tonight he was, again, the experience showed in Casemiro. And he did well for the goal as well. The cross was a decently good cross, but it was sort of low, and it wasn't really to Casemiro's head. And he had to do well to kind of meet the ball and get a decently good header on it. And he did so, and he put it in the net. So, but other than that, in the midfield, he performed like the midfielder that we needed him to. He did an all-around good job defending, possession-wise, holding the ball, making some passes, some good passes out of there. So, yeah, 7.5 for Casemiro for me. Dorgu is a bit of a one that's a bit hard for me. I like a 5.5, I would say, because his passing is something that he clearly needs to sort out. He has some really, like, I don't know how to describe it other than shit. But I feel like that's really harsh. They're just really bad. It's really bad decisions and really bad execution of passes. There was an opportunity. Garnacho was open in the box. He puts in a cross. He crossed it directly to the center back. You literally could have kicked it anywhere other than that, and he kicked it directly to the center back and killed that chance. And then there's just other small moments in the game where he's making a 5 or 10 yard pass, and it's just like what are you doing? It's like what are you doing with the ball? Like what are you doing? But at the same time, he still did good to get in some good attacking positions. He made some good runs. And getting forward. So it wasn't really good enough for me. But he's coming in January. It's only been a couple months. What is it? This is his 5th month now because we're in May, right? So he's been here, 4 months technically, whatever. But he's come here. He's a young guy as well. He's 20. So obviously, I think there's going to be some parts in this game where he has to obviously improve, but he's not going to stay red hot forever. These things happen. We just got to make sure that he develops and progresses. And next season will be, sort of a different one. I mean, there's obviously we have some matches left, and he's got to try and put as good as possible performances as he can. But yeah, I mean, Dorgu is one to look towards next season and see what we're getting out of him, to see if we're doing a good job or not, and how that's gonna go. Alejandro Garnacho, I give him probably about the same, a 5.5. Similar to Dorgu. I think, again, Garnacho makes some good runs. He gets into some good positions, but he should have had a goal today. He needed to be more clinical. He had 2 good opportunities. The first one, he made a mistake trying to ball roll the goalkeeper like it was a game of EAFC 25. And I said, you gotta... I literally, when he did that, I said, you gotta just lift it over the goalkeeper. Lo and behold, he gets a second opportunity, lifts it over the goalkeeper, and is off target. And there's just no excuses for that. I mean, that has to be a goal. He's got to do better there. So he should have had a goal. Should have helped the team out in that aspect at that time. It was important. We didn't create too many big chances. That was the biggest chance we had, and you got to put that ball away. And yeah, so for me, yeah, Chad says that chip is not acceptable for 4.5. Yeah, I mean, you got to score it. You got to score it. So, again, similar to sort of Dorgu, though. I mean, make some good runs. He's threatening in and around the attacking area, but just that sort of final piece was really, really, really lacking today. You know, it's like instead of having a knife, it was like a plastic spoon, or like a plastic fork, or yeah, maybe like a plastic spoon. Like there was no sharpness to the edge. You know, it was good up until we got to the end point, until we got to the tip, and then there was no bite in it. So, um, I've seen players get subbed in the first half for that kind of miss. Well, I mean, he did get subbed, and I did say that. I did say that during the live. I said I would look to maybe sub him. I said maybe I'd give him 10 minutes, 15 minutes, see what we can get out of it, because again, he gets into quite some threatening positions and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, he got sub for it, and I think it was appropriate and it was proper and it was the right call. I mean, Diallo came on, he had a good impact, and Diallo has a different sort of game to Garnacho, and he plays it different, and he has different characteristics, and I think it was a positive one, and I think it was one of the ones that made a big change to the way we were playing and the impact that we had during the game. So Edward says Garna play as 10 is not good boy. Is a winger. Well, that's a problem because we don't really have wingers. So we have three options, Edward, really. Sell him, try and make him play as a 10 and develop him, or try him as wingback, which I think two of them, I don't know how that goes because it can work, can not work. I feel like as a wingback, it might not necessarily work. I could be wrong. Grace has been advocating to play him as a wingback, and I mean, try it. I'm willing to see it, to see how it goes. I just don't feel so confident about it. But I mean, try it, I guess. Wingback, get him to play as a 10, which he obviously has to learn and develop, or you sell him, because it's not really. I mean, there's, you know, it's not like the formation is going to change because of Garnacho. So either he learns and gets better at playing as 10, maybe he plays as a wingback, as a second option, and if both those options are null and void and out the window, then the last option is, well, then I guess you got to sell him because he just doesn't fit. But I don't think, I still think it's a bit too early to kind of give up on him. I think let's see. I think very well so. I think at least another season. I don't think he's like that. I don't think he's that bad. No, like people for me, like Anthony was horrible, Sancho was horrible, and Rashford has been bad for 2 seasons and has been fairly inconsistent for his whole career at Manchester United. I think those players, it's clear as day. You can, you know, write them off. At least for playing at Manchester United. I think with Garnacho, it's not really the same. Sort of thing. Sports highlights here says RPL. R says our players, most of them were very nervous. They were a bit nervous. I think they were concerned about. I think the players know that they've made bad mistakes in games. You know, I don't think that they're dumb in that way. I think they're very, very aware that in a lot of matches this season, they have conceded goals because of their own fault. And I think they were a bit nervous that, you know, one, they were getting pressed and they were getting pressured. And I think it was in the back of their head that they were like, we need to make sure that we don't do this because we've been hurting ourselves for quite some time. You know, even Ruben Amorim pointed it out as well. So, and again, I still think the characteristics, large in part of the team, you see, they're just better when they're allowed to sort of just kind of be like counterattack free range type of players. I mean, in the last 20 minutes, that kind of was what it was. I mean, we weren't counterattacking, but the fact that like, we kind of went a little bit more gung-ho and we went a little bit more like direct. They seem to play better in that sort of aspect than in, you know, trying to control the game, possession, keep things at our tempo. So yeah, I mean, it happens. It's something that we got to overcome with time, and performances on the pitch, and just building up the team. So um, Garnacho is better 9 attacker than Rasmus. Ruben needed to be creative and play him false 9. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's something. Listen, I think. Again, I think it's something that I won't write him off. I think maybe it's something that you could look to do next season. I would like to see him here next season and see how it goes and what we get out of him and what Ruben can do with him. And maybe he finds maybe a different home for him. I mean, for right now in this season, we don't have too many options. He's an option that we kind of have to use in that position. Maybe for next season, we get some different players in. And maybe, we get Cunha and maybe we can move Garnacho around and maybe he slots in somewhere else and maybe he is better there. Maybe he does play wing back and actually he's better at wing back and he's better at wing back than he plays at 10. I don't know if he wants to play wing back. That might be another issue. And if he doesn't, but that's on him. But, from his press conference that he gave with Ruben, doesn't seem like he necessarily wants to go. It seems like he wants to stay here. Maybe he's keeping it close to his chest, but I don't know. Well, it's one of the three. He either improves as a 10 or it fails and we sell him, or we use him as wing back. If that doesn't work and he can't play 10, then I guess you sell him. Unless maybe you do something like Chad says and maybe try him as a false 9. I don't know about that either. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying I don't really know how to really feel about that. But this is what I'm saying. I think have him here for next season. I don't think you write him off. And see what we can do with him next season. And let's just see. And maybe something good will come out of it. Oh my God. Richard is back. Richard says he won't be here next season. Richard is back. Richard, how are you, buddy? How is everything? Are you good? It's been a while, Richard. It's been a while. Good to hear from you. I hope you're doing well. What are you saying, Richard? What are you saying? Are we gonna win the trophy? Are we gonna win the trophy? For those of you that don't know, Richard is he's a legend of here. He was one of the first, if not the first. He's been away for quite some time, but he's just come back in on today of all days. And this is why we let the stream go for a little bit longer, because you just never know. You just never know what you're gonna get. Chad says the plan is to play it to Rasmus, who will give it to Bruno, who then plays the ball behind it to the defense for Garnacho. Yeah, right now, yeah, that pretty much seems like that. Ashley Young in his 40s is a better wing back than Garnacho. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like Garnacho would necessarily fit as a wing back. I think for me, the way I feel about it at this current moment in time is it's 10 or bust. If you can't get him to develop into a decently good 10, I think there's no real other position for him at the club. And if there's no other real position for him at the club, that means that he's got to go. Sport Highlights says Garnacho needs to be very smart about how he plays, start making good decisions, and play for the team, no individual glory. Yeah, he does need to do that more. That's one of the things that we've been saying, that I feel like if he could really pick and choose, he needs to pick and choose more. Sometimes he gets too tunnel vision, he gets too selfish, he makes bad decisions. I know it could be in his game because he's done it a couple times. I mean, the last match that we played, he did quite well. He got an assist, he got a goal as well, but he got an assist. And he was putting more balls and more passes and more crosses. And he was putting in some good passes, finding his open teammate on the top of the box, being smarter. So I know he can do it, but he has to do it on a more consistent and basis and just more often. So Richard says, hi Eric, all good, going to West Ham on Saturday. Or well, hopefully we give you a good win there. I don't know what kind of team we're gonna get, Richard. I mean, because the Prem is kind of over. I mean, obviously, we could still fight for points and maybe move up a couple places. I don't think we necessarily have to rotate now that the final is in 2 weeks. So it's not like we have a match the upcoming Thursday or something like that. I feel like he probably is going to rotate a couple players though to give some of them that are rest. So hopefully, maybe we find a better balance than we did last time against Brentford, because against Brentford it was too heavily rotated, and it wasn't a good display or a good performance by the team. So and Richard says, yes, we will win the trophy. Well, that's what I expected you to say. That's why I asked you that, because you weren't here earlier in there, but we've had some discrepancies with some of the community people saying that if we play like we played tonight, Tottenham are going to smash us 3-0, and that they don't feel so confident in playing against Tottenham, and they're worried, and they think that Tottenham are actually going to go and beat us. So yeah, I was cheeky there in asking you that, because I knew you were going to say we were going to win it. Undero says Garnacho is a false 9. Definitely a no for me. Poor decision making, I'm afraid. Hardly passes to our number 9. And then he does. Then when he does cross the ball, which is hardly, he never looks up. Watch closely. Well, I'll pay attention to it a little bit more, I guess, in the next match he plays. I see that we got another ad. Don't worry, when the ads pop up, I won't say anything important. I can see Xerxes 10. Well, that for sure, I could tell you that. And Garnacho 9 combo, Bruno other 10, Kobe and Ugarte behind them. I don't know. Richard says the match is on Sunday, so I'm flying over Saturday. Yeah, that should be good. Should be good. Yeah, hopefully they give you your money worth. Not like last time when they played Tottenham that one time, right? So hopefully they give you something, But yeah, it's good to see you, Richard. I'm glad you came back. Glad you came back. I always told you were always welcome back. So I'm glad you're back, buddy. Edward says Cunha coming in. We're going to cook next season. Well, listen, it's not just about Cunha. We need a couple positions. I think Cunha will be a good addition, and I think he's a good fit for the system, and I think he's a good player, and he's Premier League proven. But it's not, Cunha single-handedly doesn't mean that we're gonna cook. We got a job to do in the summer window, and again, I'm pushing for United to get 5 players in, especially if we get into the UCL and we win the Europa League. We got to do it. Richard says he doesn't care as long as it's entertaining. Well, yeah, but it's always nice if you go to the match and they win, right? Lion says Mr. Hawkins is back. He's here. He's here. Let me finish the player ratings, and then we can blub about whatever we want. But I didn't finish them. Bruno, I give him a 6. I'm kind of just going to run through them, to be quite honest. So if you guys want to say whatever you want, you can. But I'm kind of just going to run through them. Bruno, I give him a 6. I think playing in the 10, he didn't do much in the final third today. When he shifted back into the 8, I think he was. I think he played better there. I think it worked much better there. And then obviously when the team pushed forward 70 minutes and on, I think he got a lot more involved, and he was a lot more better in sort of that aspect when we had the pressure on them. So Rasmus, I give Rasmus a 6.5. I was gonna give Rasmus a 6 just because I think, in terms of, again, it was one of those sort of matches where goal threat wise, there wasn't really anything much in it in that aspect. But in terms of, I guess, like holding up the ball and doing the sort of, that sort of play and battling it out with the center backs, I think he did what he could. I think he did an all right job. I think it was pretty average. Like, I think he did well to pick up the ball, hold the ball. Do a little bit of link up play, but as the striker picking up the ball and creating goal scoring chances didn't really come. But he did what I told him to do a couple weeks ago. Don't get frustrated. Don't pull yourself out of position and put yourself in weird positions. Make sure you're sticking where you got to stick as the striker. If your team isn't getting you the ball, your team isn't getting you the ball. It ain't your fault. The team's got to find the striker. Your teammates got to find the striker. Make sure you're in and around the box and make sure you're in a good position, because if that ball somehow comes to a point in the box, you should be there to pick it up. You could at least be a little bit like a poacher. Rasmus is one that I think he wants to get an opportunity to sort of run in behind and run onto a ball and sort of make a run through. Well, he doesn't really get much opportunities out of that. I think what he then has to do is he has to position himself like a poacher inside the box and make sure he's there in those positions. The goal he scored, he did it. He was where the striker needed to be. Exactly where you expect the striker to be. He was there. Diallo did all the hard work, put it in, and Rasmus with a tap in. So, I'm happy for the fact that he did that. So I'll give him a 6.5 for getting on the score sheet. Extra 0.5. Sure, I'll give him a 6. Kobe, I give him a 6.5 because I think 10 minutes, but I think he played the 10 minutes very well. And he made himself a presence. And he looked actually kind of sharp. And I think the only thing with Kobe is that he's lacking a bit of sharpness. I think Kobe's just lacking a bit of sharpness. And just let him stay fit. Let him go into next season. No injuries or whatever. Let him start the season, and I think he'll be fine. So, my other son, Harry, Amos, Kobe, my other son, Garnacho, not too well today, but Kobe, 10-minute cameo, I think he did well. Harry, Amos, my other son, give him a 6. Ahmad, I give him a 7 because Ahmad had a big impact and he did well to get into the match. And he got an assist, actually. And again, we all know Ahmad, different characteristics to Garnacho, plays the game differently. And I think he had a huge factor in changing the game today. Mason Mount, going to give him an 8 as well. Came on, another substitute, huge impact, 2 goals. Probably the best Mason Mount performance we've seen. Not that there's been many, but best Mason Mount performance that we've seen Mason Mount in the United jersey. So, yeah, I mean, I'm good. It's good. I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he's staying fit and he's getting these run out of games. I want it to continue to the end of the season, and hopefully we keep him fit and maybe we put this sort of injury thing behind. And again, I believe in him. I think he's a good player, and I think he could have a huge part to play in our team going forward. So, scored 2 goals, scored and the last one was, Beckham-esque, where he kicked it from midfield. Now, I know the goalkeeper was sort of far out compared to Beckham's. But number 7, shooting it from midfield. Rooney's done it as well, no? So, it was a good goal for him. And it was a good day for him and a positive day for him. So, yeah. And for me, Ruben Amorim, I'd probably give him... I'll give him a 7.5. I think the way we went about it in the first half, I get it. It wasn't ideal. It wasn't exactly what I wanted. And I think the team didn't necessarily execute it exactly. But, end of the day, he got us to the final. We got over the line. I think the substitutions he made and the way that it changed the game and it impacted, I think, was absolutely brilliant. And the way we sort of changed how we played, and we pressed up higher, and just the changing of the team around that time, I think he got absolutely spot on. All the players had a big impact, and we went on to score 4 goals. So, I mean, we had one at one point. We made some more changes and was tied. But I mean, we were down one. We went on. We scored 4 goals. So yeah, good time. Where is the chat? Where is the chat? Because I might have lost my place in here. Is Mount ready to start? Says Lions. I think you can start him based on like. I think he could perform well if he starts. My question. Oh, I didn't do man of the match. I'm sorry. For me, I'm gonna be quite honest. I'm gonna give it to Lenny. Because I think Lenny played a full game. I'm happy for Mason Mount, but I think the fact that Lenny did what he did for the whole match, Mason Mount came on as a sub, scored 2 good and important goals. But for me, I give it to Lenny. I think Lenny, the fact that he was when the rest of the team was really not looking so great and the levels were sort of low, he was the only one that really bring it. And he played, the whole game, and I think he was consistent throughout the whole game. So for me, Lenny was man of the match. If you give it to Mount, I can't argue with it. It's fine. Huge substitute impact, and it's a good day for him, and I'm happy for him as well. So, what was I reading though? Lion said is Mount ready to start? I think Mount, based on ability wise, or being able to play, I think Mount can start. I just, again, my whole thing about Mount starting is how much time can he play? Can he give us 60 minutes? Can he give us more than 60 minutes? Can he play 90? Can he play 70? Can he only play 45? We don't know these things. I certainly don't know these things. I don't have access to the doctors at Manchester United. I don't know what the medical plan is behind Mason Mount. So for me, I think Mount, is good enough where you can argue to start him in a match based off of ability and impact. But I would just say whatever the medical plan is for Mason Mount to ensure that he doesn't get another injury and stays fit and continues playing matches, I'll follow that. So if they tell me that Mount should really only be playing about 30-40 minutes, well then we'll just bring him on as a sub for the time being, because I'd rather have him stay fit and continue this than trying to risk it to get a big impact from him starting. But yeah, I think he can play. So Lenny says, I thank God every day for being at United. I'm proud and I want to continue like this. And that quote was provided by Lyle. So thank you, Lyle. And yeah, I think he's listen, I mean, he picked us over Madrid. There was a reason for that, probably mostly because he had a better chance of playing. But I think now that he's been here at Manchester United, like what usually happens to basically every single person that comes in contact with Manchester United, you see what the club is. And it just, even if having this season, you see what it is on like sort of a global scale as an institution, and you just fall in love with it. And even players that, even for somebody like Samero that has come from Real Madrid and, won all the Champions Leagues and won everything there. Even Varane, they come to United and it makes an impact on them. Like it stays with them forever. And yeah, I think, Lenny is experiencing that. So Lion says, totally agree with Ondero. Well, Ondero said, I believe he is ready. Talk about Mason Mount. He said he definitely has 60-70 minutes in him. Might start him for sure. He and Ahmad will link up to Rasmus, unlike Garnacho. Well, yeah, and I think, if these players can play a good amount of minutes, again, I think Garnacho has been playing a lot more probably than he probably would have. So And I mean like starting. I think Garnacho would still be coming on as a sub, but I think Garnacho wouldn't be starting maybe as much as he has been because I think players like Diallo and Mount probably give Amari more of what he wants um, and what he expects. And I think if they were fully readily available and are able to give, because I mean, technically, Garnacho can play 90 minutes every match. I mean, Garnacho wasn't rested last match um, while everybody else was. He played, and then he played again today. So, maybe we're overplaying him as well a bit. But somebody's going to have to sacrifice it because he's the young gun, right? And some of them are a bit older. Like Maz is a bit of a concern. We obviously we lost the lit again, which isn't good. So, but Lions, in response to that, said, but the thought of Mount starting does make my undies a wee bit brown. Don't want anything to happen. That's what I'm saying. So whatever the medical plan is, that's what I'm for. I would like to see Mason Mount obviously start at one point, and I think he would be good. And I think he would play good. And I think he would give us different aspects and characteristics that would be helpful, like Ondero was pointing out. But for me, it's not really worth the risk. I'd rather have him stay fit. So, I mean, if they say he could give us 70 minutes, then, then just start him. But if he can't, then don't do it. I'd rather just have him come off the bench at that point. Richard says, I am going to give Mount a 7.5, like Harry, like Harry Noy, my favorite player, but well done today. I mean, yeah, I mean, he had a big impact, 2 goals. And it's been a good time for him. It's his longest, I think, actually, it's been his longest run that he's been available for us. So that's positive. 2 European goals for Mason Mount for Manchester United in the European campaign. And yeah, it's a player that, we've kind of been saying that, like, we feel like he can be good and we feel like there could be a good player in there, but, he hasn't been able to stay fit and it's an issue. And we've been sort of hoping that he stays fit. And so far he's done so. And so far he's being rewarded with that. And, it's just good. It's good for him because, at some point you start to feel bad that, it looks like a bad buy from United, and that goes on United, and that's United's fault, and it's not really Mason Mount's fault. And obviously, these players, they want to play, they want to be available, they want to be able to be part of the team. And when you're getting injured and you're constantly out and you can't stay fit, I mean, and you just joined a new team and you can't provide anything, obviously, like, they're gonna feel like shit about it because they want to be able to play. So. It is. Chat says Mount 2 games, 3 goals. Yeah, I mean, let's keep that record up and keep it going. Plus, Lenny got the assist for the equalizer. So yeah, man of the match. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he did well, and he played all 90 minutes. So, I don't even think United have access to doctors at United. Apparently we do. So, I think. To be quite honest, I think we've actually done. Like, listen, we're always gonna get injuries. It's never not gonna. You're never not gonna not get injuries, right? And we sustained a couple. I think the squad is a little bit light. And then every once in a while you get a setback. But I actually feel like, in terms of the way that injuries have kind of gone this season compared to last season, I feel like last season was just a gigantic disaster. And you know what? Maybe it was a little bit on Ten Hag, because he didn't necessarily rotate a lot, and a lot of players were playing a lot of minutes. And maybe that did lead to more injury. I mean, there were reports about that. I mean, again, I don't know. That's not my expertise. I'm not the guy to identify that. That's not my job. I'm just a fan. And I'm just, kind of speculating on what could have been the issue. Obviously, we've had injury problems, and our doctors haven't been great for a while at United. And we always usually have some type of an injury crisis. But I feel like, in terms of the way things kind of have gone this season, it's still not good enough. It's got to improve, but I feel like it's not as bad as last season. So I guess maybe that's a slight positive. But I mean, we still need to do a better job. Richard's going to bed. Says take care, Eric. Everyone, love you all. Be safe. Well, take care, Richard, and we'll see you later. And good night. And it was good to hear back from you, man. To be honest, I wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad it happened. So, um, so yeah. Andero says, good night, everyone. It's past midnight here in the UK. Yes, it is. And I got to get going as well. So, it's been a good show as well. Everybody has to go to bed. I don't want to keep anybody here later anyway. You guys are fantastic with the support. I'll just read up the last couple chats. Chad says Rio was begging for him to come to United. Well, now I don't know who we're talking about. Euro reminds me more of Axel Tuanzebe when he broke through before the injuries. Yeah, have a good night on Darrow. Chad says Euro is like Varane, Vidic, and Ferdinand. One mixed his own legacy that is creating at a very young age. I'm YouTubing in my 30s, and this guy is living the dream in his teens. But listen, yeah, I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with YouTubing in your 30s, all right? I had my opportunities, and I chose my path, right? But yeah, I mean, he's got talent, he's got ability, and he's got high potential, and this is obviously why. We had to pay a good amount of money for him, but Real Madrid were in there as well. And I don't think it was one that was like something in the past where Man City was interested in a player and we went and supposedly stole it from them and then they end up being shit. I think it's clear to see that this kid obviously has, let's put it this way. With what we paid for him and sort of his ability now, at his age, with the potential for he's got, he will actually be able to pay back the fee that we paid for him. Also, I like the aspect that we're doing both. I mean, we paid a lot of money for Euro in terms of a young player like that, right? But we also got Heaven for nothing. And I think they're both very good center backs. I mean, we got to see a little bit more of Heaven, but from what we've seen from him so far, I think he played phenomenal at that short time, and it's unfortunate that he's gotten injured. But I think it's positive because we've gone out and we've bought one. We've also gotten one on a free transfer, and now we're looking at it like, well, we have two young kids that can actually grow up and maybe be the future in a partnership for the next 10 years. Because I think they're both good. And they both have quality, and they both have potential. And partner them together. We could have a partnership with these two. One, we paid a good amount of money. The other one, we got them for free. And we could have them for the next 10 years. Plus, and that's quite a good dynamic aspect. So, yeah. Chad, you a YouTuber? You banging out the lines, banging out the lingo. Local sports in Cape Town. Oh, all right, we didn't know that. Spy Inc. is the channel's name. Oh, okay, like and subscribe. He says, cheeky. Yeah. So listen, we're gonna get out of here. There's the link to the Discord. If you didn't get in the Discord, I'm telling you, you're missing out. We got some good, funny conversations and things going up in there. And chats and news updates and stuff in that. And also you get updated for when we go live. So I put announcements as to when we go live, so you'll be up to date with that. You should also have the notifications turned on YouTube for this channel so that you don't miss it. And you should be in here before the show starts. But yeah, thank you to everybody that smashed the like button. thank you to everybody that has subscribed. We got new subscribers. Obviously, you can see the counter has gone up to 2,940. So thank you to the new subscribers. We're on our way to 3,000. We will get there. We're making slow but steady progress, and progress is progress, and we'll take it as it comes. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to Chad and Lion and Edward and Ondero. Lyle, of course, Richard coming back in as well was a surprise of the night. Ray was in here earlier in the chat. Axe left us early as well. Sports highlights, shout out to you as well. Grace was in here as well. Just shout out to all the Almo as well. I don't mean to ever leave anybody out. If I do, it's an accident, and don't feel bad by it. But yeah, just shout out to all of you, because you guys are the channel. You guys are the community. And without you, I got nothing, and I just be sitting here talking to myself. So you guys are the lifeline and the bloodline of this, and I love your support, and you guys are fantastic. You're always here every single show, no matter how long I do it. If I did an 8-hour show, you guys will just stay in here. You guys literally would just stay in here. You guys don't care if I do an hour show or 3 hours or 4 hours. You guys are literally always here. Like I can't. Honest to God, I can't ask for much more than that. You guys are amazing. You do it in and out. Edward says, new sub here. Love this channel, and good night, everyone. Well, thank you, Edward. We're glad to have you as part of the community and the family. And we look forward to seeing you on the next lives. Obviously, what's tomorrow? Friday. We'll probably do a Friday freestyle. We'll do a Friday freestyle. Tomorrow we'll go live. We'll take the Saturday off, and we'll come back for Sunday for the Red Devil recap. So if you guys are around tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't do any other conversions for you. If you're around tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK time, around that time, we will go live. We'll do a freestyle Friday type of show. We'll just kind of wing it and go for it. Yeah. So if you didn't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button, because it is very important. I don't just say that just to annoy you and just to say it because every YouTuber says it. It actually really matters. So if you didn't do that, please do that. It's of great importance. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Shout out to the day ones. Shout out to the ones that are always here. And last thing before I get out of here, if we can please, one more giant big effort from everybody that's here. If you could get in the comment section after I end the live. After I end the live, if you can please go back to the video, get in the comment section, and just comment something. Whether you want to comment something about me, United, whatever. Because YouTube holds that in high regards to the channels and to the videos as well. The more comments we get under the live, under the video after it airs, the better they keep it in high regards. So if we can make a conservative effort, there's a couple of Lions and Lyle are always there. I would like to get some more there if you can. I know I ask a lot, but you guys are amazing and you guys do a good job. So I think we can put in a couple comments, and I always enjoy them as well. When I go to work out now, because I'm going to go exercise, right? I read the comments, I look at them, and they always put smiles on my faces, and I like them, and interact with them. So, oh, the monetize, I almost forgot. Thank you. See, this is why we need you here. Yes. So we're monetized now, by the way. I think you've noticed, because there's been some ads popping up, right? And I'm trying to do my best because I think the ads can go a little bit crazy. If you let YouTube do it, they want to input 77 ads into the videos. I think I had it set up where it was only doing it every 30 minutes. Please let me know if there was a lot, because if there was a lot, I got to fix it. If there was only like a couple, the stream has been going for 2 hours, so you should have got 4 ads maybe, depending on when you joined as well. So please let me know. We're monetized. I know, it's a bit of a difference. It's ads. We didn't really have ads before. I'm gonna try to do my best around it, but we got to monetize. It allows, if we could start making a little bit more money for the channel, I can start using that money to reinvest, and we can make some great things for this channel in terms of, maybe some content, maybe get like a good background going, and just build the channel out and do some better things. So Lion says you only got one. That's fine. That's even better. I didn't want too many before we started talking about this. Now with the implementation of the ads, I am going to be releasing, to become a subscriber, not a subscriber, but like a member. So if you don't like ads, I mean, you can subscribe and then you won't get ads anyway. If you don't want to do that, but you don't have to, it's not mandatory, but it's just going to be an option for people out there, because I need, we need to start pushing this for the channel. When the channel makes money, the channel can reinvest it, and we can make the channel even better, and we can get some really cool things going. So it's just part of it, but I wanted to make you guys obviously aware that there are going to be ads now. I'm not going to go crazy with the ads. I'll have a couple and stuff like that, and we'll have like I'm going to put out the membership tier. Me and Lyle worked on a couple things a little while ago. It was a few months ago. Look, and it's trying to run an ad right now, but I'm gonna let it skip. I'm gonna skip it. So it just notified me it was trying to run an ad. So give me them ads. God damn it. Well, it helps because YouTube pays us, right? But so the thing is, like, yeah, I'm gonna be releasing tiers. So you'll get a little badge next to your name. We have different tiers. They're different colors and stuff like that. So me and Lyle worked on a couple of these things. They're different colors based on the tier and how long you become sort of a member and stuff. And I'm gonna put out the it's time for the emojis and stuff like that Lyle did, the stickers and stuff. Brilliant things. I think you guys are gonna have a lot of fun with them and stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that, like, I got the option for monetization, and we got to move forward to be able to grow it. So I didn't really want it to be like they kind of started playing before I actually thought they were going to start playing. So I didn't want it to be like I didn't want it to be like a surprise. Like I didn't want you guys to feel like you're getting smacked in the face with like ads now. You know what I mean? So yeah, and obviously I'll update and put a clearer plan as we go forward, like in the Discord and stuff, and maybe at the end of shows, the plan that we got. Lyle says emojis will launch here and will be incorporated into the Discord. Big things for this channel are on the way, and they absolutely are. And I have that saved, so I'm gonna try and get like this subscription tier thing down sort of immediately. If I could do it at the same time, I will, just so, because some people don't like ads and they might want to come and join the member, and maybe they want to support the channel in that way as well by getting a subscription for whatever it is, $4.99 a month or something like that. So yeah, it's just a good way. We're a community, everybody helps each other, we're one channel, and we all put in what we all get what we put into this channel. So I take a lot of time, you guys take a lot of time, so we're doing this thing together. So we're doing this thing together, we're in this together, and we're moving, and yeah, I mean, you guys give me encouragement every day. Sometimes it might be hard to be like, sometimes you feel quite small when you look at the other channels. And in today's time, people, sometimes they blow up overnight. But the fact that you guys are always here, you guys, give so much time to come and support the stream. And you guys are always in here, always chatting. And you don't have to be. You could literally, if you wanted, you could literally go watch anybody else. But you guys choose to be here. So that always... it means a lot to me. It does. I never take that for granted. So, I love you guys. Thank you for all the support, and thank you for being here on this journey. And I look forward to continuing this journey with you guys. You guys have been Amazing. You know, before I had you guys and I started doing the live, I was here talking to nobody. So I'm glad that I have friends and family that I can have conversations with about United. Now, and it's been really amazing. You know, even keep going, man. We love it. Even somebody like Lyle. You know, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, how am I gonna say it so that it doesn't come off wrong? Because I don't want it to come off wrong. But like, even me going as far as to trust Lyle with what I've trusted Lyle with is a big like change for me. I always like didn't I couldn't trust people because I didn't necessarily know them, right? Like for example, I gave Lyle access to the entire Discord. Lyle could, and Lyle can do anything he wants to the Discord. He can burn the Discord to the ground if he so wants. But you know, I've gotten to know Lyle, and you know, he's shown through his actions and even lines, and you know, a couple other you that have been here for quite some time now. And like previously, it'd be very hard because I'm like, well, what if this person like screws me over? What if they stab me in the back? What if they do something, you know, like there's nothing I can do to them. I mean, Lyle lives in South Africa. I can't. I live in New York. I can't do anything. It's not like I'm seeing Lyle tomorrow at school or something. You know what I mean? So it's a big change, you know. But I'm glad because actually it's been very positive and it's worked very well. And I'm glad that it is what it's been. So and I'm grateful that I've been able, you know, even if it's by chance, to meet you guys. You know, it's amazing. So yeah, I love it. Chad says it's all about real talk and freedom of expression. You allowed space for that, and it's appreciated. Well, I'm glad you said that because that's how I feel. I feel like there's not enough of it, unfortunately, in today's time and in the world. And that's kind of my goal and my aspect. And I truly believe in that. And I feel like, you know, there's a way, you know, listen, we're going to fight. We can argue. We can disagree and all that stuff. Again, I always say, please don't take it personal to people. That's all I ask. I think fighting and arguing is a part of life. Having different opinions, I think that's perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that. I think society actually has too much of a problem with that, where if somebody has a different thought or a different outlook, then they're just a bad person. And I don't believe that. I think that's totally wrong. And I feel like there's not enough spaces out there that just allows people to say what they want, and we can argue, but you just don't have to, you know, you don't have to be derogatory to somebody. You can just dislike what they say and argue against it. So, um, but yeah, I appreciate that, Chad. That makes me feel good too. So, thank you guys. Edward Jr. says, "Don't worry, my friend. Good things take time. This channel will blow soon." Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you putting that out there. So, thank you, Edward Jr. I appreciate that very much. And I know that I don't get carried away. You guys keep me level on that because you know, sometimes it's very hard. And you could say, well, you know, like maybe you feel like you should be doing more or things should be happening faster or quicker, especially in today's time. But what always brings me back is like, I'm like, well, I have a very loyal community. And yeah, okay, it's not thousands of people and it's not even hundreds, but small, but we're loyal and they're always here. So like you guys keep me on track with that, and that's why I appreciate that. So uh United does that to you. United by United. That's it. All right, guys, I've held you up enough. We'll speak tomorrow. Um I'll keep you guys posted in the Discord and stuff. If you're not in the Discord, you don't have Discord. You know, I can't make you get Discord, but if you don't have Discord, 8 p.m. UK time tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be going live for our Friday freestyle. So, you know, if you can make it, we'd love to have you, and we'll see you. Everybody have a good night. Be good. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. GGMU. We're in the final. We're going to win this thing. And we'll speak a little bit more tomorrow. Everybody have a good night. Wonderful night. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you very much. You guys are the best. And yeah, just be good, guys. Thank you.